Okay, Hunger Games, Sunrise on the Reaping. I should have wrote this down, but I didn't. I listened to the audiobook. In some ways, it felt cliche and dumb to just repeat Katniss's storyline with Haymitch, because essentially everything was the same, except Haymitch didn't start the rebellion. But I think that was the point, that Katniss was just lucky, and anyone could have done it. Was it a cash grab? Hard to tell, because we would all like to believe that Suzanne Collins stays true to her "I only write when I have something to say" message, and I think the book said a lot. A lot of people were complaining about how many, people we saw that we already knew. Did you not grow up in a small town? Because, my parents went to school with my friend's parents. That's just how it works. And District 12, it's very much set up, there's, the one small town that, Katniss grew up in, that it would make sense that her parents and everyone knew each other. And then it's oh, well, in the capital, everyone... Well, yeah, because there's only so many victors at that point. Obviously, we're going to see people we know. I mean, it wouldn't have had to be people we know that well, or it could have been people we didn't know, but it made sense, and it was really sweet. We could have done with a little less, but why give less when you can give more? A lot of it was very tragic, all the parallels. Are you sure she didn't just rewrite the same story? But it was good, so we're not really going to complain. What we are going to complain about is the fan cast. Haymitch is not 30 years old. Lenore Dove is not supposed to just be Rachel Zegler again. She's also doesn't have to be Sadie Sink. We get it, she's the only redhead you know. But she's supposed to have, I think she could still have, kind of dark hair with red tints. Dark red hair. Luella, I either see, really, black or really white. I think we could go somewhere in the middle. Also, I think Luella and Lulu should be two different people. Because it would really show the contrast to have two different actors that kind of look alike. Even if you cast, twins or something, or you just find two actors that look alike, but I think having two separate actors would make it hit harder. I get that then both of those actors would have a lesser role, and you'd have to hire two kids and try to make sure they look alike. But I think it would be really cool to see it done like that. Haymitch, he can be blonde, it's okay, make him fit in the movie canon. I know in the book he's not, but he's already been physically portrayed as blonde. And kids don't start out as dark-skinned, dark hair, dark eyes, and grow up to be blonde. Your hair color can change, but normally it changes from blonde to dark. That is much more of a normal thing. Maisie Lee Donner, Queen energy. I was genuinely rooting for her to win the Hunger Games. I was I know it has to be Haymitch, but until Maisie Lee killed the Game Makers, it was she would literally be perfect, because Haymitch has done too much. They're not gonna let him live a happy life, but Maisie Lee would be in the sweet spot of the Capitol would hate her, but it should win, and it should do the most with it. Also, Maisie Lee doesn't have to be McKenna Grace. Find a random blonde, okay? I think it should all be unknowns, other than, the adults. Plutarch and Snow can be the original actors' kids or whatever. But I think for the kids, it should just be age accurate, not popular. I feel like casting someone that's already known, like casting some people, the only age accurate blonde anyone can think of for Haymitch is Walker Scobell. Of course, because he's the only blonde kid anyone knows. He's actually the only 17-year-old actor anyone knows. Like, 16, 17-year-old actor anyone knows. But I don't think a lot of people see him as Finnick, which, whatever. But I don't think he fits. I just don't think he fits. And I also think it would be like, oh, Percy Jackson is playing Haymitch. No, I want Haymitch to play Haymitch. And then that actor can go on and have a bright, big, beautiful life. But I think I would love to see all, like, pretty unknown actors. Also, soundtrack. I see a lot of people debating what singers should do songs on the soundtrack. My personal opinion is that it should all be Hunger Game actors. I think you have Rachel Zegler. Like, imagine, like, it ends with, like, a Hanging Tree rendition or something of that's the end credits with Rachel Zegler and Jennifer Lawrence. And, like, you could do other things than... Okay, pop song, Noah Kahan, perfect. Iconic. But also, having the movie end with, like, with having Lucy Gray, Lenore Dove, and Katniss, like, singing together. Like, the idea of weaving in their voices throughout musically would be so cool to see. Like, just hire Rachel Zegler to do random backup vocals, because there's several scenes where they're singing. Katniss's dad sings in the big funeral scene, and I know it wouldn't, like, work canonically in the context of the movie, but how many parallels we get in the book, I feel like obviously some of them are going to get lost in translation. It's inevitable. So I think bringing it back and have Rachel Zegler doing backup vocals for things and having Jennifer Lawrence do backup vocals. Like, imagine Burdock Everdeen. He starts to sing. Which one? He sings in The Great There Before, right? It's sooner or later that I'm 6 feet under, and sooner or later that you'll be alone. Ooh, yeah, I don't know the words. Imagine Burdock Everdeen singing, and just kind of underneath, quietly, you hear hints of Katniss and Lucy. Like, you could do so much with it musically and make it so, like, use that as a thing to tie it together, because that is what she does in the book. She uses all these things to tie stuff together, and I think that could be such a cool thing to see. I also, finishing the book, I was like, wait a minute, what are they gonna cut when they make it into a movie? Like, because inevitably it's going to be smaller, like, there's just going to be less. And I was like, what do I think is genuinely, like, on the chopping block of about to be cut? Like, let's be honest, Astrid and Burdock are just gonna be in, like, 2 scenes, probably. My biggest fear is that, like, they'll botch the Lulu Luella switch, and, like, it'll be, like, really glossed over in a way that just doesn't make sense, or, like, it won't even happen. That's one of my biggest fears, is that they'll botch the Lulu thing. Also, listening to the audiobook, I was fully convinced that Katniss's dad's name was Verdict. I don't know if my ears are bad or something, or if that's how he said it, but I was fully convinced his name was Verdict. Until I saw people spelling it out, and I was like, Burdock. Okay. I kept seeing a lot of people do this, instead of fan casting, they were like, who I pictured while reading. And the only one that I have a really strong image of is, like, Plutarch in his, like, suit, and he's just like he's described as being in like this purple like jumpsuit, and I just picture like it's just the funniest image comes to mind. It doesn't look like anyone. It's just such a funny image, and I hope they really cast someone that just looks like that looks like a goober in a way. Like, obviously I kind of hope that it's the original actor's son, but I just hope he encapsulates the energy of, like, he looks like a capital goober, but then he's, like, a little bit like, hey, Mitch, you want to help me start a rebellion? I hope they don't gloss over anything, actually. I hope they do absolutely everything, like, word for word. I do think watching the original movies after reading the book, I was like, wait a minute. A lot of the characters are like word for word from the books, except for Haymitch. Haymitch just says whatever he wants. Like, Woody Harrelson was just on that set just like, it seems like it seems like Woody Harrelson was just saying, like, it seemed like Woody Harrelson and Elizabeth Banks were just given free reign. Like, sometimes their lines are like just different enough that I'm like, I want to know what that was. I also wonder, the original Hunger Games movie, we got additional context from it not being Katniss's POV completely, so I wonder what we'll get, because if we get more Lenore Dove perspective, or like Sid and Lenore and Haymitch's mom watching the games, or if we get Beetee watching the games, or basically if we get anyone's perspective outside of the games, that'll be rough. Also, I want to see Luella's parents' perspective, because from their perspective, what happened? I think this movie is casting soon, so if you would like to cast me. Hi, I'm Olivia Squizzle. I am 5'2". I'm based somewhere in the world. I have blue eyes and brown hair. Old. I'm non-union. I do have an entire wardrobe that would fit the vibe. Like, you wouldn't have to really costume me. I can show up good to go. I might need to buy new shoes, though. I can pretty much do anything. I don't think there's any role in this specific book that I would be good at. Because Luella's too young and too, like, she has to be a bit sweeter with longer hair. I could probably be a good Haymitch. I could go blonde, but I'd probably be an ugly blonde. I could play Burdock, I think, convincingly, because I think my rendition of the old There Before would really sell it. I could just be, like, tribute number 2 and just die. If I am a tribute, maybe I would be one of the District 6. Like, I can be, like, poor, pathetic. Who else is there in this book? I could be Plutarch, just because I want to wear the purple jumpsuit. The question is, Haymitch, why didn't you? The question is, Haymitch, why didn't you? Just something to think about. Get the cameras rolling. I don't know what Plutarch young Plutarch is like a diva in my mind, but he wasn't in the book. I also think my Help co-star, Mayonnaise or Florence from the Moon, any one of them could be Maisie Donner. She's always she's always braiding stuff to make bracelets, so I think we could turn that into, like, necklace making too, because she's very sassy. She would slap you. She almost slapped me actually almost every day she almost slaps me. I don't think I could be Maisie. I can't braid at all. I could be young Wirus, maybe. My arena... My arena was a mere I picture her like a fairy. Because if you look at how Wyrus has, like, this descent into madness, I picture her, like, pre that being just, like, a little bit out of it still, but, like, in, like, a, just, like, la-di-da-di-da sort of way, and not a sort of way. For me, I didn't want to go. For me, it was, I didn't want to die in the dark. I wanted to see the sunlight. I stayed hidden most of my games. No one could find me, not even the Capitol, to send me my sponsor gifts. It was quite embarrassing on their part. See, I could be young Wyrus. I think that's... I'm trying to think, like, how characters are described. I don't think there's many people that would work. I'm not big enough to be a career. You can't... can you imagine me, like, holding up Welly's head? No, let me be Marie from District 4 and kill the game maker. Let me be like... They're gonna kill me for this, aren't they? I don't remember what Marie says or how she's described at all. Wait, where's my snake? This is my snake. They'll murder us. They'll murder us. They'll murder us all. They'll murder us. They'll murder us. Find Haymitch. I'll be Luella. That's my Luella audition. Okay, I think that's enough for today. I should probably stop. Bye! Enjoy your day.